Hey, what's going on? This is Liam from Liam's Tinnitus. So I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth right now. It's probably going to be, hope you can see the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I'm going to be this is the final place I'm going to be in America. I'm seeing a doctor here. I've seen a 34th generation Chinese herbalist.
So let's start talking about how we would treat it, and for each of these three types of ringing tinnitus conditions. So let's start with the aging problem, this kidney adrenal depletion, this weakness that occurs.
Who's absolutely fantastic. He got into it because his dad cured him of being a quadriplegic, which is just amazing. A vegetable using acupuncture and Chinese herbalism. That'll be in a documentary. The second person I saw was a guy named Darren Schmidt, who's an absolutely fantastic doctor. He's just, I cannot speak highly enough of him.
Okay, so parasites will go anywhere they want to in the body. Think of a snake in the jungle. It's in the river, it's in the trees, it's on the ground, it goes wherever it wants. It can go in the brain, and it can go in your ears. And so there's big ones and there's small ones, there's microscopic parasites. And they could be in the ears, or they can go in the mastoid bone, which is right behind the ear.
He actually studies the old books, which are destroyed by the FDA and AMA. So he goes back to old history and brings that old science and food and test studies and gives it to his patients and uses it to cure them so I won't say cure, but he probably want me to say things like help find solutions for autoimmune diseases and stuff like that. But I'm going to speak on his behalf at all. You can check him out, Darren Schmidt. Dr. Darren Schmidt, he's a doctor, he's a chiropractor. And I'm seeing a chiropractor this week who helps people get rid of their tinnitus by hydrating their brain and getting oxygenating the brain. And I'm finding that a lot about tinnitus is about oxygen, because there's people who do the Wim Hof. I recommend people do the Wim Hof breathing exercise for meditation, which is, if you don't know what that is very basically get as much oxygen as you can. And people say, whoa, my tinnitus nearly went away. That's crazy. And then it comes back roaring. The problem with that is what's happening is it's manually trying to override lactic acidosis, which Darren Schmidt is going to talk a lot about. And Darren Schmidt also has found that ketosis helps his patients with tinnitus. All of this, don't worry, all of this is going to be in a documentary that's coming out. I'm going to be interviewing tons of people you're going to love. I'm going to be interviewing an NLP expert, tinnitus experts on YouTube that you know, all these awesome people, fasting experts, doctors from all over the world, ENTs, audiologists, all these people. It's going to be awesome. For example, I've had people who do 3-4 water day fasts, and they say, holy shit, I can hear the traffic outside of my house I lived in for 15 years for the first time ever, and the windows are shut. I've heard of people say their hearing improves. So I had a lot of questions from people that say, Liam, will my hearing improve following this your system, everything that you promote? I'm going to say it's not a very good, I don't know, basically. Like, it's not what it's for. It's designed for tinnitus, but then again, it's not really designed for the ears. You got to understand, the advice I give you, it's not designed for the ears. It's designed mostly for the gut and the nervous system, because remember, the nervous system is fed directly from the intestines. So like I said in the last video. So in terms of hearing, I've had many people tell me that their hearing gets better. It normally goes like this. The easiest things to fix are pulsatile tinnitus is the easiest thing to fix, or at least in this order of what goes away. Let's say somebody has pulsatile tinnitus, hyperacusis, tinnitus. So hyperacusis is noise sensitivity. Normally people get rid of their pulsatile tinnitus in like a day. Like, it's just a day. Pregnant women, generally older women who have pulsatile tinnitus. Just stop, for the older women, I would just stop drinking alcohol, start taking iodine. I've had people who say their hearing improves straight away right when they take iodine, because it helps with detoxing everything and unclogging everything, which is a very layman's way to put it, but we're not going to get into the specifics of it now. That's another thing I want to talk about. I'm kind of going on a bit of a tangent here, but just want to talk about what I'm thinking. The way that I help people with tinnitus compared to what you might see online is I just test things and find what works and go, okay, this works. And then I work my way back and figure out why it worked. Other people want to theorize and test things, and they don't want to test anything until they know for certain it's going to work. And I think that comes from you don't want to take risks, calculated risk, common sense. Like, you wouldn't, jump into the Atlantic Ocean from a plane a mile up naked because you think it would get rid of your tinnitus. But you could cut some things out of your diet. You see what I mean? It's common sense there. But they have a fear of looking stupid too. Some people think, oh, I don't want to tell people to try this because I feel I look stupid. And then doctors can't really, they have restrictions on what they can tell you as well. They have a standard of care, which is actually put in place to make sure that you take pharmaceuticals. You can look that up. Jennifer Daniels, a doctor who got fired because she started curing her patients of what were believed to be incurable diseases such as autoimmune diseases, viruses, stuff like that. She actually also proved, or so she brought to light the evidence and the facts that things like E. coli, salmonella, and some parasites actually thrive within us and are supposed to be there. There was a study where I think this was an Ongenus vonderplanets. This information has been out there for decades, where Ongenus vonderplanets. It was talking about a study where I think someone at Harvard University or Yale or one of the ones where it's like, oh my God, you're so amazing, you're at university. Go figure, right? They were doing a test on pigs, so they brought pigs in. Wait, they're still recording. Hope you can hear me. They brought pigs in and they kept them really clean, kept them out of mud, and the pigs started to get really sick and a couple of them died. And so what they did was the scientists who wanted to do tests on these pigs, he analyzed them and saw they had no trichinosis, which is a deadly parasite that you can get from eating raw pig. Okay, so what did he do? He went to other pigs in the dirt, killed them, opened up their stomach, got the trichinosis out, basically fed the stomach to the sick pigs, and when they got the trichinosis, the perceived to be deadly virus, the pigs got way better and their skin problems cleared up and their mental problems cleared up and their digestive issues cleared up and they stopped losing so much weight and they got much better. Because the parasite can, it can eat 100 times its weight and it will only poo out about 10% of that. So it's very good at digesting food and it poos out a digestible type of food. But there are a lot of parasites which are really bad for you. I was reading a study, I think it was literally written in the late 1800s it was about immigration, people coming from India to, I think it was maybe Europe or like just a Western country, and they always had ear infections because obviously I'm interested in ears, and what they used to do was called mastoidectomy. I know a mastectomy is when you cut off the woman's breast, a double mastectomy, but I think a mastoidectomy is when they would cut out, you can hear this, the bone that's behind your ears, because that's one of the #1 places that harbor parasites. Parasites hang out there. And so there was an Indian woman who came in, I think she was even a child, she was 16, something like that, and she was very malnourished, she was very weak, she was a vegetarian, and she came in and because parasites love rice, bread, pasta, and they also can also thrive in, anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But what they ended up doing was they cut open the side of her skull here, sorry, not skull, the side of her skin, and they found a tapeworm there. So there was a worm, and it was a adolescent worm. So it's a fully developed worm. So they pulled the worm out, and her ear infections started to go away. Now, it didn't talk about tinnitus. I don't think she had that as a symptom because I'm sure it would have been mentioned. Or maybe, how many times have you guys been to an ER and been like, oh my God, my tinnitus is so bad, and they just don't give a shit. Doctors don't care about the ringing in the ears because it's not really a documented thing. And it's not really an interesting documentable thing. Like if a doctor can go, oh look, I cured this rash, that's very impressive. But if they cured tinnitus, you can't really take photos. And I don't think there's no really like heroship, if that's a word. There's no like Robin Hood sort of like, there's no achievement for a doctor there. I don't think, although maybe I think it's too hard to even discuss. But the story goes, they pulled out, and then they found that lots of these people who are coming over had this issue. So there are now supplements you can get. And parasites hang out in your both mastoid bones here, okay, in your brain, and in the bottom of your spine, just above your coccyx bone. And your coccyx bone is, if you lean forward, it's basically the bottom of your spine. And so you can parasites hang out there too, because that's your nervous system. They want to fuck with your nervous system. Mastoid bone, your brain is obviously your nervous system, and your spine is your nervous system too. So it's a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, as I said, I'm just in America at the moment. Oh, if you're in Dallas, I'd love to meet you. I've arranged to meet up with somebody already. I'm not really sure what there is to do here. I'm here until Monday, I think, because Monday is when I interview the doctor, and then I'm driving down. I'm going to do a road trip down in Mexico. So if you want to join me for a road trip down in Mexico, come along. I'll rent a car. We'll go down. It'll be awesome. If you're in Mexico, I'm probably going to go to Mexico City to try and save a bit of money because America is so fucking expensive. It's ridiculous. I'm not living flash or anything like that. I'll show you some footage of where I live now. It's just whatever, but it's like the cheapest one I could find. It's like $75 a night, and then you got to have the tax and stuff. That's US. But fair enough, I did book it on the day. But I'm going to Mexico if you guys want to join me there. I'd love to meet up with you guys. I'm thinking of setting up some sort of place where people can come and actually meet me in person. And I figured that Mexico would be better than Europe because so many people I help are in America. And I'm pretty sure the American visa situation stands, you can just come down to Mexico. I think you would know. I'm just guessing it. Anyway, so I want to leave you with a motivational video. I sent out an email today to everyone, but if you didn't get that, if you're not on my email list, you can get on my email list by getting my free ebook, which is liamstopstinnitus.com/free ebook, FREE book. I'll put a link down below, but I'll put another link down below, which is going to be linked to another page on my website where I hosted somebody else's YouTube video. It's not my video. It's a motivational video. And I used this video as a tool to keep myself motivated when I was trudging through and basically traveling the world, and I wasn't getting any results. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know even a third of what I know now about tinnitus. And it was so frustrating. It was so lonely. And it's going to be lonely for you too doing this, because this is an online world and this is an online way that I'm presenting this. I've started to meet a few of you in person, which is awesome. But check out that video below. It's a motivational video. It's not about tinnitus. It's about motivation and succeeding and how life is hard sometimes. So check it out and I'll talk soon.